everybody on every airplane to know that Boeing owns it. We own our supply chain, we own Spirit, we own the results of our work. We're a company that relies on trade. Free trade to us will always be sort of first on the list of desires.
Boeing is making headlines again, but this time, it's not because of an accident or incident. It's about the highly anticipated Boeing 797, a game-changing aircraft in the medium-haul category that promises to revolutionize performance and challenge Airbus's dominance. So what can we expect from this groundbreaking plane, and how will it set new standards in aviation? Let's take a look. Launching the revolution. Boeing stands at a pivotal moment in its history, once the unrivaled leader of the skies, now navigating turbulent times. The company faces rising competition, lingering crises, and a product lineup that leaves airlines wanting more. However, within this challenge lies a critical opportunity, an aircraft that could define Boeing's future. This is not merely another development. It is a game-changing moment that could either solidify the company's comeback or mark its final decline. Former CEO Phil Condé has urged Boeing to move swiftly, emphasizing that the workforce and the industry need a reason to believe again. There is a shared awareness that the 797 is coming, and this time, Boeing has no alternative but to succeed. Even amid recent struggles, the company must push forward, supplying airlines with the more efficient aircraft they clearly require. This urgency is beyond debate, especially as Airbus continues to dominate a market Boeing once defined. For years, Boeing's strategy has left a noticeable gap in its offerings, particularly between smaller, narrow-body jets and larger wide-body planes. Airlines are actively seeking an aircraft that combines mid-range efficiency with long-haul economics, something neither the 737 MAX nor the 787 Dreamliner fully provides. This is precisely the space the 797 is designed to dominate, offering Boeing the chance to prove it still possesses the vision and capability to lead the aviation industry. Beyond filling a market void, the 797 represents a necessary successor to the legendary but aging 737, a platform that has reached its developmental limits after more than 60 years. While the 737 remains a backbone of global aviation, its name has become increasingly linked to controversy rather than innovation. The 797 offers Boeing the opportunity to let the 737 stand as a legend of the past while introducing a new icon for the future. Financially and competitively, the stakes could not be higher. Airbus currently sits unchallenged at the top of the industry, with its A321XLR securing significant orders and reshaping airline fleets. Boeing needs the 797 not just to compete, but to reclaim lost contracts and restore its shaken standing. The mid-range market is an untapped opportunity, a potential goldmine for whichever manufacturer can deliver the right aircraft. For Boeing, this is the moment to redefine itself as a serious challenger, determined, focused, and ready to reclaim its place at the top. But what many do not realize is just how close this vision came to being abandoned, not once, but twice. Vision too big to ignore. Boeing had already identified a substantial market gap, one significant enough to justify the creation of an entirely new aircraft designed from the ground up. When the company first introduced this vision to the public, the response from major airlines was swift and enthusiastic. The concept featured a twin-jet aircraft constructed from lightweight composite materials, promising the fuel efficiency of a narrow-body plane while carrying a considerably larger number of passengers. At the time, all the necessary elements seemed perfectly aligned for a major industry breakthrough. Yet, despite this promising start, the project would soon be halted not once, but twice in succession. Boeing faced a defining strategic decision. It could continue incrementally stretching the 737 MAX family, or it could take the bold and risky step of launching a completely new aircraft, which would later become known as the 797. Ultimately, the company chose the safer, more conservative route, opting to move forward with the development of the 737 MAX 10. This decision nearly led to the permanent abandonment of the promising 797 concept. However, Boeing remained deeply convinced of the aircraft's profound market potential, even as the project was officially delayed with a tentative return planned for the mid-2020s. In 2020, the company formally paused all development on the 797. Yet, just 1 year later, hope was rekindled as Boeing restarted the program, this time focusing on a shorter variant intended to enter service by the end of the decade. This renewed effort was underscored by an estimated investment of $25 billion, reflecting the serious commitment behind the endeavor. This renewed momentum proved fragile. By June of 2022, the project was frozen once again, a result of complex and interrelated challenges. These included the absence of suitable next-generation engine technology, limited internal development resources, and perhaps most critically, a growing erosion of trust within the industry. After a series of high-profile controversies, Boeing's reputation was no longer something airlines could rely on without hesitation, casting a long shadow over any new, ambitious undertaking. The fundamental question persists: why does Boeing so desperately need an entirely new aircraft like the 797 now? The answer is increasingly clear. This vision represents what may be the company's final opportunity to restore its damaged credibility and reclaim its leadership in the vital mid-market segment. To abandon it could prove to be an impossible strategic retreat. Importantly, the 797, also termed the new midsize airplane or NMA, is far from an ordinary development. Even while existing only on paper, it has long been viewed as a strategic game-changer, with projected sales exceeding 4,000 units, a scale significant enough to alter the competitive balance of the entire aviation industry. This aircraft is not envisioned as a simple upgrade. It is designed to bridge two distinct worlds, combining the range and passenger capacity of a wide-body with the operational efficiency and economics of a narrow-body.
This is the electronics bay, and you can see all this wiring directly under the floor of the cockpit.
In practical terms, it promises airlines the ability to fly long-distance routes while maintaining the lower operating costs typically associated with single-aisle aircraft. With early estimates suggesting the potential for 30% higher profitability and 40% lower operating costs, it presents an offer the market cannot easily ignore. The aviation industry is widely viewed as urgently needing an aircraft that fulfills this exact role, positioning the 797 as the natural and necessary successor to the legendary but aging 757, an aircraft that once dominated the skies before its production ended in 2005. Presently, roughly half of all 757 aircraft ever delivered remain in active service, predominantly in the United States, with many operating as freighters. Yet the aircraft's golden era is unmistakably concluding. Airlines like Delta and FedEx have begun reducing their 757 fleets, while others, such as Icelandair, are gradually retiring what was once central to their operations. Most notably, Jet2 withdrew its final 757 in early 2025, effectively ending the type's presence in UK skies. This situation extends beyond the 757 to its wide-body counterpart, the Boeing 767, which is also nearing the end of its life cycle. The last passenger order for the 767 dates back to 2008, and since then, production has continued largely due to demand for freighter variants. However, with just over 100 aircraft remaining in its order backlog, the 767 now holds the smallest order book in Boeing's commercial lineup, concluding the program an unavoidable reality in the near future. Despite this clear and sustained market demand, Boeing has continued to place its primary bets on the 737 MAX program. Once a symbol of corporate pride, the MAX name has since become deeply associated with controversy and crisis.
We started learning more about this MCAS system. It became our #1 priority.
The company could have chosen to allow the 737 family to conclude its legacy as one of the most successful aircraft in aviation history. Instead, Boeing pursued a series of incremental modifications that resulted in the MAX, a model now indelibly linked to safety failures and a severe erosion of public trust. Although the aircraft has returned to service, widespread caution persists among experts and passengers, with unresolved concerns lingering and public confidence yet to fully recover. This landscape compels Boeing to fundamentally reassess its strategy. The need for an entirely new aircraft is no longer solely about recovering from the MAX crisis, but also about reclaiming critical market share lost to Airbus. In the vital mid to long-range segment, the Airbus A321XLR has surged ahead, offering extended range, low operating costs, and unmatched operational flexibility. Boeing's absence of a directly comparable aircraft has undeniably pushed many airlines toward Airbus, a trend the 797 is specifically designed to reverse. According to information from within the industry, the NMA is expected to launch in two primary configurations. The first, likely designated the 7976, would seat approximately 225,000 passengers and offer a range of up to 9,260 kilometers, making it ideal for transcontinental operations. The second variant would carry around 275 passengers with a shorter range of roughly 7,480 kilometers, targeting high-density routes that do not require extended range. This dual-variant approach is a strategic move to address multiple segments of the mid-market where cost efficiency and operational performance are absolutely critical. Yet despite all these carefully considered plans and market calculations, the ultimate success or failure of this entire vision will depend on one decisive, unresolved element: the selection of its engines. powering a beast.
That have been underway for decades at the company.
This is a story of how an American icon lost its way.
While many details of the Boeing 797 remain unconfirmed, the company is known to have spent years carefully refining its design, an aircraft expected to usher in a new era for the aviation industry. Early in the process, Boeing leaned strongly toward a twin-aisle configuration, an ambitious concept aimed at delivering a superior passenger experience on longer routes. This layout would have provided greater cabin space, enhanced comfort, and faster turnaround times through more efficient boarding and disembarkation. Unsurprisingly, airlines favored this idea for its promise of improved passenger satisfaction and operational gains. More recent reports, however, suggest Boeing may be shifting toward a single-aisle design. This alternative would lead to a significant reduction in the aircraft's overall weight, a critical advantage, as lower weight directly translates to improved fuel efficiency and reduced operating costs for carriers. Industry rumors indicate the 797 could feature a fuselage structure similar to that of the 787 Dreamliner, particularly in its nose-to-tail construction. If accurate, this would signal Boeing's intent to strike an ideal balance between passenger comfort and economic efficiency.
They're all about spaciousness, so you'll get pretty nifty seat setups designed for comfort during those marathon flights.
Pursuing an aircraft that is both traveler-friendly and optimized for airline operations. The most decisive factor in the 797's success, however, will be its selection of engines, a choice capable of reshaping the competitive landscape of commercial aviation. Boeing currently faces a fierce contest among industry leaders, including General Electric, CFM International, Pratt & Whitney, and Rolls-Royce. Each offers distinct advantages, from superior fuel efficiency to reduced maintenance requirements, all of which will play a crucial role in determining the aircraft's long-term operational performance. The engine decision will not only define the 797's reliability and efficiency, but also heavily influence how Boeing positions it in the market, appealing either to airlines focused on long-term cost savings or to those prioritizing easier maintenance and reduced downtime. Boeing plans to launch two primary variants of the aircraft. The standard version is expected to seat between 220 and 225 passengers, while a larger version could accommodate nearly 275 seats, representing a clear capacity advantage over the Airbus A321XLR, which maxes out at around 2,020 passengers. Designed specifically for medium-haul operations, the 797 would be well-suited for major routes such as New York to London or Tokyo to Sydney, with an anticipated range of 4,500 to 5,000 nautical miles, a capability expected to surpass the range of the A321XLR. While the Airbus model has already made a strong impact with its 4,700 nautical mile range, the 797 aims to push further, offering airlines a flexible and cost-effective solution that bridges international and long domestic travel. Landing gear design emerges as another critical yet often overlooked factor, one that is fundamental to aircraft safety. Past issues linked to insufficient landing gear height on previous Boeing programs led to serious consequences and damaged the company's reputation, mistakes it cannot afford to repeat. The 797 is expected to feature taller landing gear than its predecessors, ensuring compatibility with larger, more advanced engines while improving overall ground clearance. This design improvement enhances future flexibility, allows for more powerful engine variants, optimizes maintenance access, and increases stability during high-speed landings, a major step forward in both engineering and safety. Finally, one of the defining characteristics of the 797 will be its extensive use of carbon fiber composite materials, similar to those used on the 787 Dreamliner. These advanced materials significantly reduce weight, improve fuel efficiency, and increase structural durability, which in turn leads to lower long-term maintenance costs.
And Giselle, what's so important, what's so amazing as we watch this airplane is there are great fans of Boeing all around the world who love products just like that.
Beyond pure efficiency, carbon fiber enables improved cabin conditions, including lower cabin pressure and higher humidity levels, dramatically enhancing passenger comfort and reducing fatigue on long-haul flights. Boeing's hard-earned experience with composites gives it a clear advantage.
This is a great day for our customers, not just the program and for the Boeing company, but for our customers.
Positioning the 797 to achieve an ideal balance between operational economy and passenger experience, precisely what airlines are seeking today. Yet, even with a promising design, Boeing's path forward is far from unchallenged, especially when facing a rival that has been preparing for this moment for years. Meet the competition. The Boeing 797 faces its most immediate and formidable competition from Airbus and its A321XLR, an aircraft that has quickly gained significant market traction due to its extended range and outstanding fuel efficiency compared to other models in the A320 family. This pressure is intensified by the simple fact that while Boeing remains in the development phase, the Airbus XLR is already entering service and deployment, a reality that not only puts Boeing behind in delivering a competitive product, but also increases the costs and risks associated with its own development timeline. Airbus has drawn extensively from its successful experience with the A320neo and A350 programs to design an aircraft with the potential to surpass what Boeing is still preparing to introduce. The A321XLR effectively combines the best attributes of both models, merging the superior fuel efficiency of the A320neo with the cabin comfort and long-haul capabilities traditionally associated with larger aircraft. Furthermore, Airbus is already progressing beyond the XLR, with reports indicating the development of a new midsize aircraft capable of flying further, consuming less fuel, and carrying more passengers, an effort centered on next-generation engine technology with the potential to revolutionize fuel consumption and provide airlines with substantial cost savings.
Which new technologies to include is one of the great challenges of the aerospace business.
A core element of Airbus's strategy involves the aggressive use of advanced lightweight materials to secure a competitive advantage. The manufacturer is applying proven composite materials, lightweight and durable substances that have been highly effective in previous models like the A350. The use of these composites allows for the construction of an aircraft that is significantly lighter than traditional aluminum structures, thereby enhancing overall flight performance and efficiency. In addition, Airbus is utilizing advanced 3D printing technology to manufacture complex components that are considerably lighter than those produced through traditional methods.
It would outsource much of the plane's design and manufacturing to its biggest suppliers.
An approach that not only reduces weight, but also shortens production timelines while increasing design flexibility. This continuous cycle of improvement enables Airbus to optimize its aircraft as new materials and manufacturing technologies emerge, resulting in planes that are lighter, more fuel efficient, and capable of flying longer distances with lower consumption, delivering meaningful operational savings for airlines. The emphasis on weight reduction also supports lower carbon emissions, aligning with tightening global environmental regulations and meeting the growing demand for sustainability within the aviation industry. In terms of projected performance, while the Boeing 797 is expected to accommodate between 220 and 270 passengers on medium-haul routes up to 5,000 nautical miles, Airbus's forthcoming aircraft is anticipated to push these boundaries even further.
It's Airbus that's betting, gosh, if you can build an airplane that can carry ultimately maybe as many as 800 people.
Although official specifications remain unconfirmed, early reports suggest Airbus is aiming for higher fuel efficiency, a longer range, and increased passenger capacity compared to Boeing's offering, positioning its new jet not merely as a competitor, but as a potential game-changer in the medium-haul market. The market response to the Airbus XLR has been immediate and decisive. American Airlines, United Airlines, and JetBlue were among the first to place substantial orders, viewing the aircraft as a way to expand their transatlantic and busy domestic networks without incurring the higher costs of operating a wide-body. In Europe, IAG group carriers such as Iberia and Aer Lingus also committed to the type for point-to-point long-haul expansion. In the Asia-Pacific region, carriers including Qantas evaluated the XLR for domestic trunk routes and non-stop services to Southeast Asia and Japan. As of recent data, Airbus holds firm orders for hundreds of these aircraft, including significant batches for United and Qantas, integrating the model into larger fleet renewal strategies. Beyond Airbus, Boeing faces additional competition from manufacturers that, while less prominent, are strategically reshaping the landscape in which the 797 must succeed. The rat race. Embraer, though not as large or as loud as its European rival, remains a strategically important competitor with its E2 family of jets, particularly the E195-E2. This aircraft does not aim to directly replace the 757 class, but instead competes by redefining efficiency on thinner, lower-demand routes, as airlines increasingly favor smaller, highly efficient aircraft to reduce financial risk in uncertain markets. Embraer's approach effectively diverts attention away from larger midsize aircraft by offering compelling flexibility where large scale is no longer guaranteed. While Embraer lacks the capacity to dominate the mid-market outright, it steadily erodes demand at its lower boundary, making Boeing's overall challenge more complex. China's COMAC introduces a different form of competition, one rooted in long-term national ambition rather than immediate global market impact. The C919 currently targets the narrow-body segment, yet it represents the foundational pillar of a much broader industrial strategy.
That was a pretty powerful, pretty quick takeoff. Of course, this airplane actually has the Western engine, right? A CFM LIB-1 engine.
With strong state backing and access to one of the world's largest aviation markets, COMAC possesses the potential to expand its product line upward over time, with future programs likely to encroach on the very mid-size category Boeing hopes to reclaim. Although international certification hurdles, supply chain dependencies, and questions of global trust currently limit COMAC's influence outside China, its sustained trajectory cannot be ignored. The competitive landscape a decade from now may look profoundly different. Russia's Irkut MC-21 occupies a similar performance space on paper, promising advanced aerodynamics and modern materials that align with the efficiency goals defining the 797 concept. In reality, however, severe geopolitical pressures and international sanctions have largely confined its relevance to domestic and select allied markets, constraining its ability to compete on a global scale. Nevertheless, its existence highlights an important shift. Technological parity in aerospace is no longer the exclusive domain of Western manufacturers. Competition also manifests in less visible forms. Many airlines continue to extract significant value from aging fleets of 757s and 769 freighters, deliberately delaying replacement decisions in favor of extending the life of proven assets. Others are restructuring their route networks to better fit their existing fleets rather than committing capital to a new aircraft type. This form of market inertia quietly competes with innovation, raising the bar for any new entrant by demanding an overwhelmingly compelling economic case. For Boeing, this means the 797 must not only outperform its direct rivals, but also provide a powerful, undeniable reason for airlines to finally move on from their current equipment. In this multifaceted environment, the 797 is not confronting a single enemy, but a market that has adapted dynamically during Boeing's absence. Narrow-body aircraft have grown longer legs, smaller regional jets have become more efficient, and new players are preparing to enter the stage. The mid-market has not stood still waiting for Boeing. It has evolved, diversified, and become more contested, a reality that introduces further complications and controversies for a program already facing profound internal and external pressures. Boeing's bag of controversies. Despite the significant anticipation surrounding the Boeing 797 concept, the entire program is shrouded in serious controversy and persistent uncertainty. The most fundamental issue is that the aircraft does not officially exist. Boeing has never formally launched the 797, opened an official order book, or committed to a firm development timeline. This lack of concrete progress has fostered growing skepticism within the aviation industry, with some analysts openly questioning whether the aircraft will ever advance beyond the conceptual stage. A primary technical obstacle has been the absence of mature engine technology. The 797 was conceived around next-generation power plants that leading manufacturers like General Electric and Rolls-Royce have struggled to deliver, as these engines have yet to meet Boeing's stringent requirements for fuel efficiency, range, and durability without introducing unacceptable technical risk. Launching a clean-sheet aircraft without a fully mature and reliable engine would tragically repeat the very mistakes that contributed to Boeing's recent crises, a scenario the company can simply no longer afford. Compounding this challenge is Boeing's strained internal capacity. The manufacturer remains deeply entangled in the prolonged fallout from the 737 MAX crisis, continues to grapple with ongoing production issues, and faces significant certification delays with its 777X program. Intensified regulatory scrutiny from authorities like the FAA has further slowed development timelines, reducing Boeing's organizational bandwidth to manage another immensely complex and expensive clean-sheet project. Multiple industry observers have noted that Boeing may currently lack the necessary stability to shepherd an undertaking as ambitious as the 797. Perhaps the most damaging factor is a profound erosion of trust. Airlines have grown increasingly cautious following years of repeated program delays, publicized quality lapses, and shifting corporate timelines from Boeing. Several key carriers that initially expressed strong interest in a new midsize aircraft have since committed to firm orders for the Airbus A321XLR, choosing a certain and available alternative over waiting indefinitely for a Boeing plane that may never materialize. This critical loss of confidence has weakened the commercial rationale for the 797 and raises a precedent pressing question: whether the strategic market window for such an aircraft is already closing. Further complicating matters is a visible lack of internal strategic clarity. Boeing's leadership has engaged in prolonged debate over whether to pursue a true midsize aircraft like the 797 or instead prioritize a clean sheet replacement for the 737 family. This unresolved internal conflict has repeatedly delayed final decision-making, leaving the 797 program stuck between competing corporate priorities. Each passing month of delay increases eventual development costs, while simultaneously allowing competitors to solidify their market positions unopposed. The immense financial risk involved represents the final formidable hurdle. Conservative estimates place the total cost of developing the 797 at well over $25 billion. After years of financial losses, rising corporate debt, and constrained cash flow, committing to an investment of this magnitude carries enormous peril for Boeing. Both shareholders and regulators are now demanding rigorous financial discipline, making it exceedingly difficult for the company to justify launching another astronomically expensive program without a near guarantee of overwhelming market success. Taken together, these interconnected challenges explain why the 797 remains one of the most discussed yet unrealized aircraft in modern aviation. The concept undeniably promises an elegant solution to a genuine market need, but a thicket of controversy, deepening caution, and persistent credibility issues continues to block its path to reality. Thanks for watching. Now check out the videos appearing on screen for more compelling stories.